Yeah, my name's Wes Patterson. I'm originally from Michigan. I'm originally from the north, and I moved down here for a job, and I also had some family in the area. So, I mean, I'd known about PrimeDriven for a couple years. I think I first heard about you guys on a regular car review. I think the first one I entered in was the WRX wagon,
Okay.
a couple years back, and then I've bought things here and there from PrimeDriven, and so about a month ago, I purchased the yellow windbreaker,
Okay.
and I like the jacket. I like the jacket a lot anyway, so it was just kind of a bonus. And I bought it for my wife because she was talking to windbreaker, and I like the look of that thing, so I bought it. And yeah, and then about a week ago, Brian, I think you called me on
Yeah.
Thursday. I'm a fleet mechanic for an electrical company, and when you called me, I was doing something real crappy. Like I
Okay.
think I think I was doing glow plugs on an old Ford 60, just miserable job. Yeah, I was covered in oil up to the elbows, and I kind of like the highs and lows of wrenching, but it was just a miserable job. And like I told you, Brian, on the phone, I just been having some bad luck the past couple months. Nothing major, but just a lot of inconveniences. And
Yep.
in that moment, to like get that call, man, it was such a wild feeling. It was. I mean, heart was beating. I'd never been like that nervous in a positive way. When I was a kid, I'd always liked cars, and I mean, my dad was into like muscle cars.
Hmm.
Um, he had a classic at one point, and then I had always liked four by fours growing up, and so I think my first car was a full size Chevy Blazer that I got when I was like 15, and then I kind of fell into the wrenching thing just because we didn't have a ton of money, but we had a garage full of tools, and so I was always wrenching on things, always wrenching on my car. We also had like an old four wheeler. I was always wrenching on that, and so that's kind of how I fell into that for a job. Now, when I really got into Japanese cars, I think, shoot, I was probably 19. I started thinking about cars a lot more because I had, I'd had mostly just big trucks and four by fours up until that point, and I started driving cars a little bit more that my friends had, and I really got in my head I wanted to get a car. And so I think when I was 19, I got a Subaru 25 RS, a 99. So that was like before they were selling the WRX in the US.
Right.
It was a really pretty car. I mean, it was a coupe, just a lovely car, and I loved that thing. And ever since then, it's just been an absolute addiction for me. Anytime I didn't have like a good street car, my mind was always thinking about getting another one. It was just once you experience that handling and just the way it made me feel was just this absolute release. 25 RS was my first like real Japanese street car, and then ever since then I think I've had a couple Civics, had a Civic wagon, I've had a couple other WRXs, I had a Miata. um, And then, I mean, right now I have a Cherokee, like a Jeep Cherokee, and then I have a 2002 WRX wagon, really nice one. Just something about Japanese cars, man. They just have a certain feel to them, and I absolutely love the 90s and early 2000s era because cars from that era are like they're the perfect mix of modern engineering and classic design. You have like modern engineering car that still feels and handles really well, but you still have like the classic design of just a simple car that just does what it's supposed to do. By default, that's probably going to be my wife, but the first person other than her, I have a friend who's just gotten into cars. I mean, he's like, I think he's 41 years old. It's a guy I trained jujitsu with, and he bought this Miata that's 10 years old. It was like kind of almost a barn find. Like it had not 10 years old. It hadn't run in 10 years. It's an NA Miata. And I've been helping him fix that up. We got it fired up one night. Thing runs like a top, and he's getting it repainted and just really bringing the car back to life. And so that was like about 6 months ago, or it's been like, 6 months I've been helping this guy out. And, him and I have just been going back and forth on car stuff. And it was kind of cool because he's always been like casually interested in cars, but never like getting really into them. And now he's getting into them. And he was one of the first people I told about this once I kind of verified that, it was actually happening. And
Right.
so I think that guy, my one friend, Sam, I think Sam's probably going to be the first guy I'm going to take out in it. Might even let him drive if we find a nice, peaceful road. I mean, this is just unbelievable, man. The car is absolutely gorgeous. Again, I can't thank you guys enough. This is incredible.